It was exactly 6:58 a.m. when the alarm clock in Michael Porter's bedroom began to vibrate softly. It didn't ring loudly, it didn't buzz aggressively. It simply hummed, as if even the alarm clock itself did not want to make too much noise on such an ordinary morning. Michael opened his eyes slowly. There was nothing special about this day, and he knew it the moment he blinked against the pale morning light seeping through his curtains. The sunlight was not particularly bright. It was not warm or cheerful. It was simply there, light enough to show that morning had arrived, but dull enough to make everything look just a little washed out. He stretched his arms in a lazy, unmotivated motion. He wasn't feeling tired, and he wasn't feeling energized either. He was simply awake, in the most average way possible. After sitting up, he stared at the wall for about 30 seconds. There was nothing interesting on the wall. No posters, no paintings, no marks. Just a flat beige surface. But somehow, looking at it felt like the right thing to do on such a slow morning. Eventually, he stood up and walked to the bathroom. His footsteps made soft, nearly silent sounds on the carpeted floor. He turned on the bathroom light. It flickered once, something it had done for the past 2 years, and then stayed on. Michael brushed his teeth in silence, staring at his own reflection. His hair was slightly messy, but not messy enough to care about. His eyes were a normal shade of brown. His face looked exactly the same as it did yesterday, and the day before yesterday, and every other day he could remember. He washed his face, dried it with an old towel, and walked to the kitchen.
Michael wasn't a complicated man. He didn't enjoy cooking anything too fancy. So his breakfast, as always, consisted of 1 slice of toast, 1 boiled egg, and 1 cup of plain black coffee. Not too hot, not too cold. Just coffee. He moved slowly around the kitchen, not because he was tired, but because nothing urged him to move faster. He plugged in the toaster. The toaster clicked softly. He put in a slice of bread. He pressed the lever. There was no dramatic sound, just a quiet mechanical sigh, as if the toaster itself was waking up reluctantly. While waiting, Michael looked out the window. The street outside was still and calm. A single leaf drifted lazily across the sidewalk. A car was parked in exactly the same place it had been parked yesterday. Even the clouds in the sky seemed to be moving slowly, as if they were in no rush whatsoever. The toast popped up not with a jump, but with a mild lift, like it was politely announcing its readiness. Michael ate his breakfast quietly, chewing slowly and sipping coffee that tasted exactly like every other cup of coffee he'd ever made. Not good, not bad, just coffee. When he finished eating, he washed his plate, wiped it with a towel, and placed it exactly where it belonged in the cupboard. Then he checked his phone. There were no messages. Not even spam. It was, undeniably, an extremely boring start to the day.
Around 9 a.m., Michael decided to take a walk. He didn't have a destination in mind. He didn't have any errands to run. He simply felt it would be appropriate to step outside and breathe some fresh air, even if the air was not particularly fresh. He put on his sneakers, old, slightly worn, but still comfortable, and stepped outside. The air was cool, not cold enough to complain about, not warm enough to enjoy, just cool. As he walked down Maplewood Street, he noticed how quiet everything was. A dog barked faintly in the distance, but it was the kind of lazy bark that suggested even the dog wasn't fully interested in barking. Michael passed by Mrs. Harper's house. She wasn't outside gardening today. She usually wasn't outside at this hour anyway. Her garden looked the same as it had looked for the past 10 years. Neatly trimmed bushes, evenly spaced flowers, and one small gnome statue that seemed to stare blankly into space. He continued walking. A cyclist slowly rode past him. Not fast, not slow, just steady. The cyclist did not look at him. Michael did not look at the cyclist. They simply passed each other like two unremarkable events happening at the same time. When Michael reached the small park, he paused. The park looked as uneventful as the rest of the town. The benches were empty. The fountain was running, but the water stream looked tired, as if it didn't have the energy to splash properly. Two pigeons sat on the edge of the fountain, staring at nothing in particular. Michael sat down on a bench. He didn't check his phone. He didn't think about anything important. He simply sat there, existing in the most relaxed and uneventful way possible. After 20 minutes of doing absolutely nothing, he stood up and walked back home.